The studio lights blaze down like interrogators, hot and unyielding. The view set looks pristine, but beneath the polished surfaces, the atmosphere is anything but calm. Cameras hover, technicians hold their breath, and the audience huge. A sea of cheerful faces settles into an uneasy hush. Mark Wahlberg steps on stage, the trademark Boston confidence in every stride. He flashes that familiar, winning smile, nodding to the crowd. Polite applause swells, but there's a strange current running through the room as if everyone senses the ground beneath them is about to shift. His eyes flick to Joy Behar. It is that sharp, calculating gaze. The smile on her lips doesn't quite reach her eyes. It's the smile of a hunter sizing up her prey. And in that moment, Mark knows this is not the friendly promotional interview he was promised. The cameras start rolling. On-screen text briefly fades in unobtrusive, but deliberate. If you're here for real, raw, unscripted drama smash that like button, share this moment, and subscribe. Because what you're about to witness isn't your usual talk show. Joy's voice cuts through the tense silence, deceptively warm. A slow burn beneath the honeyed tone. Welcome back to The View. I'm Joy Behar today. We have Mark Wahlberg in the studio. Her eyes flick briefly to the camera, a hint of challenge burning behind them. Mark, I have to say, I've been looking forward to this conversation for a very long time. The audience applauds again, some eager, others tentative, sensing the brewing storm. Mark settles into his chair, hands clasped loosely, trying to keep the tension from showing. Thanks for having me. Joy, always good to be here with you ladies. His Boston accent curls around the words, an unspoken shield of familiarity and pride. Joy leans forward, fingers lightly tapping the desk, voice smooth but with an unmistakable edge. Oh, is it though? Because I seem to remember you had some pointed opinions about people in my line of work. Something about Hollywood actors, thinking they're political experts. That sound familiar? The audience shifts in their seats. A murmur, rising like distant thunder. Whoopi Goldberg and the other co-hosts exchange quick, concerned glances. Mark's jaw tightens, but his smile remains intact. Practiced and measured. I think you might be taking something out of context, Joy. Joy's smile sharpens. Predatory am I? Because I happen to have the quote right here. She pulls a crisp sheet of paper from her stack and holds it up for the cameras. Some of these Hollywood types need to stick to what they know. Instead of lecturing working-class Americans about politics, ring any bells. A cold hush falls over the studio. Mark leans forward, voice steady but firm, eyes locking with Joy's. That wasn't directed at anyone specific, and frankly, I stand by it. There's a difference between having opinions and talking down. To people, Joy's lips curl in a slow, mocking smile. Talking down to people, that's rich coming from someone who's made a career out of playing the tough guy from the streets. Tell me, Mark, when exactly did you become the spokesperson? For working-class Americans, the temperature in the room drops. The air seems thick, heavy with unspoken truths and mounting tension. The camera cuts briefly to the audience, a mix of shock, anticipation, and unease. Mark's fingers curl into a fist on the armrest, but his voice remains calm, defiant. I never claimed to be anyone's spokesperson, Joy. But I grew up in Dorchester. I know what it's like to struggle, to work multiple jobs just to get by. I didn't grow up in some ivory tower. Joy's eyes flash with barely concealed anger. Ivory tower? That's what you think this is? I've been in this business longer than you've been famous, buddy. I've earned my right to have opinions, and I've earned my right to call people out when they're wrong. Mark's voice rises slightly, frustration creeping through his Boston brogue. You sit here every day making millions telling people how they should think, how they should vote, how they should live their lives. Meanwhile, the people you're lecturing are trying to figure out how to pay rent. The audience is silent, the words hanging heavy in the air. A bead of sweat trickles down the side of a producer's face. Whoopi attempts to break the tension. Maybe we should take a quick break. Joy cuts her off with a dismissive wave, eyes never leaving Mark. Double quotes, no, no, I want to hear this. She leans back, arms crossed, a smug satisfaction playing across her features. Please, Mark, enlighten us. Tell us how we should be using our platform. Should we just stick to fluff pieces? Talk about the weather. Maybe discuss your latest movie without asking any real questions. Mark's hands ball into fists on the table now, his voice low but fierce. You know what, Joy? You're proving my point right now. You're not interested in a conversation. You want to be right. You want to make me look bad because you don't like what I said. What you said was ignorant. Joy's pretense of civility vanishes like smoke. You want to talk working class? I grew up in Brooklyn. My father was a truck driver. Don't lecture me about struggle. Mark's temper flares. Then why do you act like you're better than everyone else? Why do you mock people who disagree with you? Why do you belittle their beliefs? Joy throws back her head and laughs a harsh, cutting sound that ricochets around the studio. Their values? You mean your values? The same values that got you arrested how many times as a kid? The same values that had you committing hate crimes? Collective gasp ripples through the crowd. Mark's face drains of color, then flushes red with fury. That's a low blow, even for you, Joy. Is it? She snaps. Maybe we should talk about your past, the real Mark Wahlberg, not this Hollywood facade you've created. Suddenly, Mark stands up, the chair scraping loudly against the floor. You can't have a disagreement without making it personal. You can't debate ideas without trying to destroy someone. Joy's voice turns ice cold. Sit down, Mark. We're not done. Yeah, we are, Mark says, voice shaking with rage but controlled. This isn't an interview. It's a hit job, and I'm not sitting here to be torn apart for your entertainment. The cameras capture every twitch of muscle, every flicker of emotion. Backstage, producers scramble, their faces pale. Security inches forward. Joy's eyes gleam with triumph. Oh, so now you're running away. That's very mature of you. Mark's fists clench tighter. I'm not running. I'm choosing not to participate in your circus. My circus? Joy laughs again, but the sound is less confident now. You came to my show. You're a guest. In my house, if you can't handle the heat, maybe you shouldn't have stepped into the kitchen. Whoopi's voice breaks through, strained with discomfort. Joy, maybe we should move on to Mark's new film. No, Joy says, without looking away. Our audience deserves to know who they're really dealing with. Mark sits slowly, jaw locked. Fine, let's be honest. Honest. Joy's voice sharpens. Honest is admitting you're just a privileged actor who's forgotten where he came from. You think I've forgotten? Mark says quietly, dangerously. Watch my mother work 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. Joy waves dismissively. Please. The poor rich boy act doesn't work on me. The studio is now completely silent. Mark leans in, voice cold. You're the one attacking people who want to make the world better, Joy snaps. I treat stupid people like they are stupid. The audience gasps. Mark's voice drops to a threatening whisper. You think because you have a platform, you have the right to be cruel. Joy laughs. Less sure now. You haven't seen Cruel yet. Don't? Call me sweetheart, Mark says ice cold. You're a bully with a microphone. Joy's face flushes red. A bully? That's rich coming from someone who assaulted people on the street. The room is frozen. Mark shakes his head. You can't win on merit, so you drag up the past. Pathetic. Joy shrieks. Mark repeats. Joy stands, voice shrill. I've done more for justice than you ever have. By preaching to the choir, by attacking anyone who disagrees with you. Joy's desperation grows. Bullies like you. Mark laughs hollowly. Joy, look around. This isn't a conversation. It's a blood sport. The studio air is suffocating. Whoopee. Tries again, maybe a break. No, Joy says firmly. We're finishing this. Mark laughs bitterly. You don't get it. This isn't about me. It's about you. How you turned discourse into war. Joy mocks, like the Vietnamese man. You attacked. Silence. Dead silence. Mark's voice low. You just proved my point. You want to win, no matter the cost. Joy's voice cracks. I want truth. Mark stands, anger coiled. You want your truth. You want to make others look bad. You want to be the smartest and cruelest. Joy's composure cracks. You don't. Get to lecture me. This isn't journalism. Joy, it's cruelty. The audience watches breathless. Security edges closer. Joy suddenly realizes she's lost control. Mark's chest rises, fury barely contained. The tension is electric. After a long pause, Joy makes her fatal mistake. Maybe you should go back to your little Boston neighborhood. Mark's eyes narrow. My Boston neighborhood, where real people work honest jobs, not get paid millions to be nasty on TV. Joy scoffs. Honest jobs. Like drug dealing, like assault. That was you before Hollywood cleaned you up. The line is crossed. Mark steps forward. 3 security guards close in. Going Joy. I can play this game too. Joy pales. Mark smiles coldly. You're bitter? You take out your frustrations on anyone who disagrees. You started this. I'm leaving because I respect myself, not because you're kicking me off. He walks off. The studio is silent. Joy stands, red-faced and shaking. The cameras keep rolling. This is not just a fight. It's a meltdown, a career killer. The studio's silence is almost suffocating now. Mark Wahlberg's retreating figure disappears through the exit door, but the air is still crackling with the electricity of what just happened. Joy Behar stands frozen for a moment, her chest heaving, her face flushed with the combined heat of fury and humiliation. The cameras keep rolling live, capturing every twitch of her jaw, every narrowing of her eyes. This isn't the poised, commanding presence she usually commands. This is a woman caught off guard. Unraveling, Whoopi Goldberg glances nervously at the control booth, then at Joy, then back at the audience, whose silence has turned into restless murmurs. Maybe we should take a moment, Whoopi suggests, softly stepping toward Joy, as if to soothe, but Joy waves her off, eyes blazing. No, she snaps. We're not done. The audience deserves to see the real Mark Wahlberg and the real me. Suddenly, the studio doors behind the cameras swing open, and security officers edge onto the set. Their presence is a silent warning things could spiral any second. The director's voice buzzes faintly in the ear of the producer. Stand by for potential intervention. If it escalates, Mark re-enters from the wings, his expression taut but controlled. He stops just inside the studio, the room instantly cooling with his return. Joy's voice dips low, sharp as a blade. Back so soon. Thought you needed some time to cool off. Mark's eyes lock onto hers. I'm here to finish this. For the audience, for everyone watching at home, Joy snorts. Finish what? You're a temper tantrum. The tension between them snaps like a live wire. The audience leans forward, some whispering, others wide-eyed and silent. Without warning, Joy leans in, voice icy. You want to talk about your working-class roots? How about your arrests, your hate crimes? Do you really think that's something to be proud of? Mark's eyes flash dangerously, muscles tightening like a coiled spring. He steps closer, voice low and controlled, but loaded with venom. That's your big move. Drag up the past because you can't debate the present. Pathetic. Joy's smirk falters. I'm just calling it like it is. Calling it like it is. Mark laughs, but there's no humor in it. You call that journalism, because it looks like a witch hunt to me. The co-hosts exchange uneasy glances. Whoopi's hand trembles, slightly, as she taps the table. Suddenly, one of the security guards steps forward, eyes darting between the two. Let's keep it civil, folks. Joy glares at the guard. I'm not the one losing control. Mark snorts, says the woman who just tried to ruin my reputation on live TV. The studio audience gasps, a ripple of shocked murmurs washing through. Joy's voice rises. Ruined your reputation? I exposed the truth. Mark's voice drops. To a razor's edge, the only truth you care about is your own agenda. Suddenly, a loud bang echoes as a stage light flickers, briefly dimming the studio. The sudden darkness snaps everyone's attention. Joy takes a step back, visibly unsettled, then recovers quickly. See? Even the universe knows this conversation is getting too hot. Mark smirks. I'm just getting started. The camera cuts to a close-up of Whoopi, who whispers urgently, maybe a commercial break? The director's voice crackles. Stand by for break. Joy cuts in, voice sharp. No, we're airing this live. The audience deserves the full picture. Mark leans in, voice calm but firm. Then let's be honest, Joy. What's really going on here? You don't want a conversation. You want a performance. Joy's nostrils flare. I want accountability. Or a spectacle, Mark counters. Suddenly, the audience erupts into a mix of cheers and boos split down the middle. Joy's co-hosts try to regain control, but it's clear the lines are drawn, and the studio is a battlefield. Narg points at Joy. You invited me here to humiliate me, to make a spectacle, but you forgot something. I'm not your punching bag. Joy's eyes narrow. You're not the victim, Mark. Mark laughs so dark, humorless sound. Victim? No, survivor. But I'm not playing your game anymore. The tension thickens. The two stand toe-to-toe, voices rising, emotions spilling over. Suddenly, Joy interrupts herself, her voice dropping to a whisper. You think you're better than me? Because you're a movie star now? Mark's gaze hardens. No, because I have respect. Something you lost a long time ago. The studio feels like it's about to explode. The cameras roll, capturing every moment for the world to see. The tension in the studio has reached a fever pitch. The air is thick with unsaid accusations and simmering rage. Every word, now a loaded weapon. Mark Wahlberg and Joy Behar stand locked in a silent standoff, eyes burning with defiance and frustration. Suddenly, Joy breaks the silence with a venomous smile. You think respect means never being challenged? That's not respect, Mark. That's fear. Mark's jaw tightens, fists clenched at his sides. I don't fear you, Joy. I just won't be your victim. The audience watches, breath caught, as the two powerhouses circle each other verbally, a verbal duel with no referee. Joy's voice sharpens. You talk about your struggles, like they make you special. But you forget, you've had every advantage. Your Hollywood friends, your money, your fame. You don't get to lecture the working class when you've been living in mansions. Mark steps forward, voice raw with emotion. I'm proud of where I came from, every hard-fought step. I'm not asking for pity, I'm asking for honesty. You want to tear me down because it suits your show. But what does that say about you? The studio grows restless, whispers rising from the crowd. Some are visibly torn, others eager for the next blow. Suddenly, Whoopi tries to intervene, voice urgent, but failing to calm the storm. Maybe we should. Joy cuts her off sharply. No. Let the world see who Mark really is. Mark's eyes flash. And let the world see who you really are, a bully hiding behind a microphone. Joy's face twists with fury. I'm no bully. Tell that to the people you've humiliated on this stage, Mark snaps. The audience murmurs. Grow louder, cameras catch every flicker of expression. Then, unexpectedly, Joy's voice drops to a cutting whisper. You know, Mark, it's easy to play the victim when you have an army of PR people rewriting your story. Mark's eyes narrowed dangerously. Don't underestimate me. I'm here with no scripts, no handlers, just me, just you. Joy laughs coldly. Just the tough guy with a temper who never learned to control it. Mark steps closer. Better a man with fire than a woman who thrives on tearing others down. The studio erupts. Some audience members cheer Mark's words, others hiss. Siding with Joy, suddenly one of the security guards steps between them, voice low but firm. Enough, this needs to stop, but neither pays him any mind. The tension is explosive. Then Joy's voice rises, cracking through the charged silence. You don't get to come here and tell me what kind of person I am. You don't get to paint me as the villain just because you can't handle the truth. Mark's eyes flash with cold fire. The truth, your truth, is a weapon. You use it to silence anyone who disagrees. Joy's composure finally cracks, voice shaking with anger and something close to desperation. You think I wanted this? This fight? I wanted a conversation. But you came here ready to fight. Mark shakes his head slowly, voice cutting like glass. No, Joy, you came here ready to destroy. The co-hosts exchange quick looks. This isn't a talk show anymore. It's a war zone. The audience gasps as Joy suddenly points a finger at Mark. You think you're better than everyone because of where you come from, but you're just as broken as the rest of us. Mark's expression softens for a split. Second, a flicker of something human beneath the rage, before hardening again. Maybe, but I'm done pretending. Joy's voice cracks, almost pleading now. Then why can't you just admit you were wrong? Mark's voice is steady. Final, because I'm not. The room falls into a suffocating silence. For a moment, no one breathes. Then Joy's face flushes deep red, and she shouts, Get out. I don't want you here anymore. Security steps forward decisively. Mark takes a slow step back, eyes locked. On Joy's trembling form, "This isn't over," he says quietly. "Not by a long shot." And with that, he turns and walks off the set, leaving a stunned studio behind. The cameras linger on Joy's face, angry, vulnerable. As the reality sinks in, the live broadcast cuts abruptly to a commercial break, but the damage is done. The cameras cut back from commercial, but the atmosphere in the studio has shifted irreversibly. The audience sits frozen, the air heavy with the ghosts of what just exploded across the stage. The usual banter is replaced by a thick, suffocating silence. Joy Behar remains standing, alone in the center of the set, her face a battlefield of anger, embarrassment, and something else, a flicker of regret that no one dares speak aloud. The co-hosts exchange quiet, strained glances. Whoopi steps forward, voice gentle yet firm. "This has been a difficult moment for all of us." Joy's gaze sharpens, but her voice trembles. "Difficult. That's one word for it." The producer's voice crackles in the earpiece. An urgent reminder, "Wrap it up, please." Joy takes a deep breath, forcing calm where there is none. Mark Wahlberg came here today to promote a movie. Instead, what happened was something none of us expected: a raw, unfiltered confrontation. She glances toward the camera, eyes dark and serious. But beyond the fight, there's a truth about all of us. We all carry pain. We all have histories that shape us. And sometimes, those histories collide in ways that tear down instead of build up. The studio lights soften, the mood shifting to something more reflective. Joy continues, voice lower now. "This moment was messy. It was painful, but it was real. And maybe, just maybe, that's what we need more of." Behind the scenes, social media is already ablaze. Clips of the fight are viral, debates erupting everywhere. The world is watching. Suddenly, the studio doors swing open and Mark Wahlberg returns, not with anger, but with a quiet resolve. He steps forward, eyes scanning the room. "I've said a lot today," he begins, voice steady but warm. Some of it harsh, but none of it came from hate. It came from a place of wanting honesty in this world that feels more divided every day. He looks directly into the camera. "To everyone watching, I say this: we don't have to agree on everything, but we owe it to ourselves to listen, to respect each other's stories." Joy nods slowly, the hard edge softening just a bit. Mark's voice cracks slightly as he adds, "And to remember that beneath all the noise and anger, we're just people, flawed, trying, sometimes failing, but always human." The audience breathes out, the tension easing. Joy steps closer, voice almost a whisper. "Maybe this fight was the start of something, a conversation we all need to have." Mark offers a small, genuine smile. As the camera pulls back, the two figures stand on opposite sides of the stage, still wary, still complicated, but sharing a moment of fragile understanding. The screen fades slowly to black, and here's where the story invites you, as you watching, to join the conversation. If this confrontation gripped you, shocked you, or made you think, then please like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful, unfiltered celebrity confrontations you won't find anywhere else. Because stories like this don't just entertain, they challenge us, push us, and maybe even change us. Stay tuned. The next story is coming soon, and you won't want to miss it.